Greetings, friends. I'm Marc David, founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. Thanks for joining me. Here's a topic I think you're going to find very helpful. Are you a food addict? I think this is a very important question because food addiction is a very commonly used and popular term these days. So many people are diagnosing themselves as food addicts. People often proclaim with a sense of scientific and professional certainty, I'm a food addict. And indeed, plenty of experts have jumped on the bandwagon and written books or created programs to manage food addiction. In the Recovery in 12-Step universe, which I love, by the way, there's even a special program that's been around for a long time to address food addicts. But there's a hidden side to all this that we're going to bring into the light today. Yes, of course, we all want to have a healthy, happy relationship with food. We want to enjoy our body. We want to feel light. We want to feel free. We want a relationship with food that truly works. So in the spirit of that fundamental and beautiful desire that human beings all share, let's get right down to business when it comes to food addiction. More specifically, the answer to the question, am I a food addict, is this. Absolutely, positively, no. You are not a food addict. You've never been one, and neither you nor anyone else in the known universe will ever be one. So allow me to explain and bring you on board with what I believe is a smarter, wiser, and more effective way to understand this thing people are calling food addiction. Here is the simple and irrefutable science. We cannot be addicted to that which is essential to life. So yes, we can be addicted to alcohol, not essential to life. We can be addicted to heroin, not essential to life. We can be addicted to cocaine, once again, not essential to life. We can be addicted to gambling. You don't need that to survive. However, we cannot be addicted to breathing. We need that. We can't be addicted to sleeping. That's essential for life. We can't be addicted to peeing. That's essential for life. Trust you're getting the picture here. Food is essential for life. Example, essential fatty acids, i.e. healthy fats, are essential to life. Various amino acids, the breakdown components of protein, are essential for life. Vitamins and minerals, essential to be alive. Let's get a little more granular here. Yes, we can conceivably be addicted to or strongly habituated to specific food substances. Common example here is sugar. We can also get addicted to or strongly habituated to the substance called caffeine. Many people can have a soft addiction or attachment to various gluten-containing foods, breads, pastas, and more. These contain gluteomorphins. These are chemicals that are classified as opioid peptides that can have a mild opiate-like effect. Similarly, many dairy products and various cheeses contains casomorphins. Once again, these are natural opiate-like chemicals that can make us feel good. But all these food substances that I've just mentioned have a far, far milder impact on our neurochemistry than do the common addictive drugs that we all know about that can wreak havoc on society and drive us to overdose and even instant death. So I trust you can see the distinctions that I'm emphasizing here. The concept that we can be addicted to food in general, it's absolutely unscientific, it's illogical, it's ill-advised, it's unexamined, and I believe it's a very destructive belief that causes some very intense personal suffering in a lot of people. Now, can we be dependent on food to give us emotional comfort? Yes. Can we develop the unwanted habit of turning to food when we're stressed or anxious or angry or depressed or bored or lonely and more? Yes. But that, my friends, has nothing to do with the concept of addiction. Let's break this down even further. In the addiction world, there's one common overarching strategy that's considered the gold standard to recovery and healing and transformation. And it's a brilliant strategy, actually, and it's this: abstinence. Addiction implies abstinence. If you're addicted to alcohol, best to be abstinent. If you're addicted to heroin, it's best to be abstinent. Avoid the offending substance altogether. Eliminate it from your life. Makes perfect sense, right? The abstinence model is both wise and necessary. However, please take note that one cannot possibly be abstinent from food. So here's what happens in the mind when we label ourselves as a food addict. If I call myself a food addict, then clearly food becomes the drug I must somehow avoid and eliminate from my life. And this creates an impossible to solve conundrum that leaves a lot of people feeling powerless and hopeless. We cannot be abstinent from food, plain and simple. It's a logically absurd approach to our eating challenges. Once again, my friends, yes, we as humans can have challenges around overeating and binge eating and emotional eating. And there are wonderful ways to work with these concerns in an effective, compassionate, and skillful manner. That's what we train our coaches to do at the Institute for the Psychology of Eating in our Mind-Body Eating Coach certification training. But again, we cannot be addicted to food, to that which is essential for life. You know this. The way the wisdom of the universe created us, we require food for life. It's wonderful. It gives us nourishment and sustenance. It feels good. It tastes good. It keeps us alive. It's a miracle. Next, calling oneself a food addict turns us into a thing, makes us a noun. A rock is a thing, a tree is a thing, a car is a thing. However, there's no such thing in nature or in the world of human creation as an addict. More specifically, addiction is a behavior that humans do. It describes actions that we take. When we label ourselves as a food addict, we become a thing, we identify as that thing, and the result for people can be very dehumanizing. We feel stuck, we feel inferior, and we create an endless spiral that pulls us down. If you think you're a food addict, or you know someone who has labeled themselves in this way, or you're a coach or helping professional who's working with eating challenges, allow me to share with you 2 tips that can be extremely helpful for getting unstuck and putting oneself on the path to greater freedom and joy with food. Tip number 1, reframe food addiction. Meaning, let go of that term completely. Don't speak it, don't think it ever. That's an ongoing practice, by the way. Replace the thought, I'm a food addict, with, I'm learning how to nourish myself with food. I am learning how to have a happy and satisfying relationship with food. Can you see the difference in that way of thinking? Our inner language, the conversation we have with self, creates our reality. It informs our emotional well-being. It generates our psychology, and it impacts our moment-to-moment experience of life. Many people habitually adopt a negative psychology. We believe that we need to punish ourselves, belittle ourselves, criticize ourselves, and hate ourselves into change and transformation. Never works, ever. When you tell yourself, I'm learning how to nourish myself with food, I'm learning how to have a happy and satisfying relationship with food, we adopt an approach to life that's positive, it's transformational, it's uplifting, and we're speaking the truth to ourselves. Tip number 2 for reframing addiction. Remind yourself every day, in fact, many times a day, I am making friends with food. Food is not my enemy. Food is actually my best friend. So here we are letting go of the toxic nutritional belief called food is the enemy. Now, in our Mind-Body Eating Coach certification training, we train our coaches in the key toxic nutritional beliefs that hold people back and keep us stuck in an endless food prison. If we believe we are food addicts, then food is the enemy we must overcome. And as it turns out, anytime the brain senses enemy or threat, we literally go into some degree of fight or flight response, stress response, sympathetic nervous system dominance, all the same thing. During the physiologic stress response, our digestive capacity is decreased and our appetite is deregulated. Most people are prone to eat more during moments of stress and anxiety simply because the brain is not equipped to do its best appetite regulation during stress, sympathetic nervous system dominance. Quite the opposite. We are naturally designed to digest, assimilate, calorie burn a meal, and have our most natural and efficient appetite regulation during the physiologic relaxation response, parasympathetic nervous system dominance. So, when we're constantly repeating to ourselves the mantra that food is our enemy, we're bathing ourselves in stress chemistry, we're deregulating our appetite, which then drives us to eat more and reinforces the false belief that we're addicted to food. So the real challenge here is that we have adopted the false belief that food is the enemy, and by reminding ourselves and repeating to ourselves that food is my best friend, we slowly begin to unwind this toxic nutritional belief and shift our physiology. We are training ourselves to relax into being a human being who is born to eat and celebrate. Hope you found this helpful, my friends. I appreciate your time and energy. See you soon.
Hey Hey friends, we're so happy that you've joined us for another episode of The Psychology of Eating with Marc, David. Are you loving these episodes? Then simply subscribe and you'll never miss an episode again. We'd also love it if you'd leave us a comment below so we can hear more about your own journey with food and body. And if you're curious about what we offer at the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, including our internationally acclaimed coach certification training that's rooted in dynamic eating psychology and mind-body nutrition, please head on over to our website, psychologyofeating.com. Until next time, take care. And remember, having the body you want starts with loving the body you have.